Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly for pricing. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for the pricing of this Alain Silberstein Tourbillon Volant. A model made in 500 pieces in the early 2000s, this is easily the coolest watch I've encountered so far in 2022. The watch is easy to wear, made in France. The stainless steel case is 40 millimeters in diameter by 43 millimeters lug-to-lug, 11.2 millimeters thick, and it has a gap between the lugs of 19 millimeters. It is a very wearable watch. In fact, I could recommend it because of its relatively thin profile and short lug dimensions. I could recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 13 centimeters in circumference, making it a viable de style unisex option. And while Bauhaus is often used to describe the style of these watches, more properly, it is a Mondrian-esque type of de style, using elemental colors and shapes. More on that in a moment, but you can see it's a thinner watch than you might expect. At 11.2 millimeters thick, it's a millimeter thinner than a Rolex Daytona. It's just the sheer cylindrical shape of the steel case that creates the appearance of a thicker watch. It's actually quite slim and very, very short across the wrist, as you can see. The timepiece is light on the wrist and comfortable. We actually include a Parisian handmade Jean Rousseau strap. Those are the OEM suppliers to FP Journe, among others. So the strap is of exceptional quality. Medium rectangular scale alligator leather, matte black. It has a monotone stitch. It has a folded edge and a little bit of bolstering to add some volume. On the back, we have calfskin. You can see it is in excellent condition. And we have the original Alain Silberstein loop steel pin buckle, all of high polish, a handsome piece. It matches the character of the lugs, minimalist and round in cross section. The watch features a monoblock case, so if you look carefully, you can see that there is no seam between the bezel and the case band. That's all one piece. So everything loads through the back, which you'll note is held on by unique screws. Taking a quick look at the case profile, you can see there is a pusher adjuster for the date indicator, and the date is ghosted on a silver white base. So while it's a little bit difficult to see head on, you can view it off axis, and you can see it becomes more evident when the light hits it at an angle. There is a lovely satin finished, or almost media blasted surfacing on the chapter ring outboard. You can see engravings for reading the minutes, and then we have applique hour indices, and the watch is loomed, and actually quite well loomed. No problem discerning the time in any light, and it features a number of lovely elements, bringing the movement to the dial side. Now, the movement is a heavily modified Progress Watch 6361. It has a train and basically a train and a fundamental drive architecture that's modeled on the ETA 2892A2, but big changes have been made in terms of power source, which is now twin barrels rather than one, as well as the addition of a flying tourbillon. So fundamentally, the design is 2892A2, but it has been heavily modified to become the 6361. It is a flying tourbillon with an impressive 72 hours of power reserve, and it is one of the few tourbillon watches you'll ever encounter that features an honest-to-God hacking seconds function. It pivots on 25 joules and it beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it has a flying tourbillon rather than a conventional tourbillon. You know this because the flying tourbillon has no upper bridge to block your view, and it is nicely finished. You can see high polish on the tourbillon architecture, and by the way, take a look at that balance design. That may be unique to the watch. All of the screw heads are black polished. The movement has been entirely blued with a sharp engine turning on the bridges and plates. You can also see as you wind it, there's a little bit of an animation through the cut barrel underneath the barrel cover on the dial side. We also have visual access to the keyless works clutch system, as well as the motion works that sets the hands. The movement has twin barrels, which not only allows extended power reserve, but also evens out the torque release, so it doesn't run super fast when fully wound, nor does it run really slow when it's running towards the end of its power reserve. A few things to note: you can see Alain Silberstein's logo on the dial. Silberstein was an architect and interior designer who became a watch designer, so oftentimes on these watches you see the notation architecte et horloger. They were built in Besançon, France, which was a traditional watchmaking region in France, and you can see this little motto underneath the dial that essentially translates to: the greatest pleasure is to turn your passion into your profession, or great happiness comes from turning your passion into your profession. You can also see on the reverse side a bit of a shock, which is that this watch, which is individually numbered out of 500, also includes 100-meter water resistance. Impressive. These are rare. The brand is on the rise, and because of Silberstein's pioneering status as one of the earliest independent watch brands, increasingly these are being collected because they are scarce and historically significant. From 1985 to 2012, Silberstein ran his own brand, and you can count on one hand how many prominent independent watchmakers were exhibiting at Baselworld in 1985, 86, and 87. Silberstein was a true pioneer in that sense and helped give birth to the golden age of independent watchmaking in which we find ourselves today. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. I should mention this watch is a complete set. We have the box, the papers, the strap tool, a second deployant clasp, as well as a full factory bracelet that was included as standard equipment accessory with this watch. So reach out to me for pricing and make the dream happen.